Thank you for joining our February meeting of the Inland Coalition on Aging. My name is Dr. Ben Howdiggy. I'm the founding board chair. Welcome to today's meeting. We have a great agenda, and I'm going to move right along because I want to make sure we get to the important presentation that we have today on emergency preparedness. As you know, emergency preparedness is one of those goals that we've set for the Inland Empire Master Plan for Aging. So we wanted to make sure we address this through a presentation by one of our partners, one of our coalition members. So I'd like to welcome everybody. I'd like to do something a little bit different today. Is there anybody here for the first time that would like to introduce themselves? We only have time for one person. Raise your hand, please. If this is your first meeting, we want to welcome everybody, of course, everybody who's new, but also everybody who's been with us for a while. But is there one person who would like to introduce themselves who's new to this group? Any hands up?
Sarah has her hand up.
Sarah, welcome.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Alkajek. I'm a senior health educator with the Riverside Community Health Foundation, and it's my first meeting, so I'm happy to be here.
Welcome. Thank you. So
Thank you.
typically we don't do introductions out of the abundant focus that we have on the Inland Empire Master Plan for Aging. For those of you that are new, we are a coalition of organizations that serve older adults, adults with disabilities, and caregivers. And so we have intentionally bypassed the introductions and long introductions because we know that's very time consuming, but maybe we can feature one or two people per month going forward, just because I know folks like to see who's in the room, so to speak. So, but thank you again. Welcome. I'm going to share with you key points from last meeting. It's always important for us to remember the what discussion was last time because it kind of sometimes carries over, or there's a lot of intersect between our goals and our conversation. So the key points from last meeting are: we had Sahar Takshi. She's an attorney with Justice and Aging, a great presentation on what Justice and Aging is doing to advance equity for older adults. Some of the talking points or things that they discussed was aging does not protect one from other inequities. And many times inequities last for the life, right? For example, racial health disparities don't end when you become an older adult, they continue. We also learned the differences between equity and equality, ageism and intersectionality. Sahar reiterated executive orders do not create, repeal, or change existing laws, regulations, or court decisions. They are proclamations that guide the federal policies and direct actions of federal agencies. So, a lot of current conversations regarding what is going on at the federal level, but just remember that there are still laws in place to protect older adults and adults with disabilities and caregivers, and so we want to remind you of that. And then Justice and Aging recently launched its strategic initiative to advance equity designed to address all areas of their work. Great presentation. Next slide, please. I'm going to pass it over to Carmen Estrada. She's the Director of Inland Caregiver Resource Center and our board treasurer. Carmen, take it away.
Thanks, Ben, and I'll be quick. I have a few updates with our Inland Empire Master Plan on Aging. We are looking to partner with organizations, and so we're going to be having some presentations that go more into depth into the master plan that we have created, and that will help you get more information and also figure out ways on how you can partner with us. So that's coming. You're going to be receiving the invitations shortly after this meeting. Presentations start in March. We will also be sending out an annual survey to our ICA members. One of our main goals is to make sure that we have the right representation of our Inland Empire within our members. So you are going to be receiving a survey. Please fill it out. It asks you some demographic information. And again, it's so that we can make sure that we have the right representation on our coalition that matches the Inland Empire. We continue to do our community outreach awareness live streams. We had one earlier today with Maria Colina and California Advocates and Elizabeth Bogumil, who facilitated. All of our live streams are recorded. You can visit our YouTube channel if you missed any of those sessions. And what those sessions do is also give community updates on the master plan. Right after this meeting at 12, if you'd like to participate, there will be a presentation, a training by the California Coalition on Long-Term Services and Supports and Justice and Aging, who was our presenter last meeting, to learn about the potential changes and cuts to Medicaid and resources that will protect essential healthcare services. So if you're interested in that and have time right after this meeting, scan that QR code to register. And also, Elizabeth, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just a note about the partner presentations. If you know that you want to partner with us in one of the elements of the master plan, pay attention to that email still, even if you're not going to attend a presentation, because there will be a form in which you can affirm partnership.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. So we're having 5 presentations, each explaining each of the different goals on the master plan. If you already know about the master plan because you've been participating since we launched it, you're welcome just to fill out the partner form. The partner form does not require any type of monetary support. It's just a way for us to track who's working with us and implementing the plan. It's also not a legal binding document, so you don't have to say, "Oh my gosh, we're signing our life away." It's mainly just to say, "Yes, we want to partner with you to implement the plan." Okay, so you're going to be receiving an email to be able to do that shortly after this meeting. And then finally, we're going to be doing some community presentations to get community feedback on the plan with Jewish Family Service with their Let's Do Lunch. We were going to be hosting 3 different sessions in the Low Desert, starting in March through April, to get some community feedback on the plan that has been created. So please stay tuned. You're going to be receiving several emails. Please open them and read them thoroughly so that you can fill out the annual survey of our members, and then also so that you can partner with us in the implementation plan or register to hear more about the master plan on one of the 5 sessions we're going to be doing. All right, I'll turn it back over to Ben to introduce our presenters.
Thank you, Carmen. Appreciate that. As you can see, we are very efficient with our time moving right along. We are excited to bring this topic to you, especially in light of the power outages and everything that has been going on in our communities. It's important that we be prepared, that we know how to assist our clients, consumers. And so without any other delay, I want to introduce Lisa Hayes. She's the Executive Director with Rolling Start, an independent living center that serves San Bernardino County, and William Wood. Lisa, thank you for joining us and thank you for sharing your presentation with us.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. And it is going to be such, I'm just going to be brief. We are the Center for Independent Living, serving the inland, serving San Bernardino, and we do some emergency preparedness in Riverside as well. William Wood is our manager of integrated programs, one of them being the emergency preparedness program. And we're super excited to be able to share this presentation with you. We want you to have this opportunity to learn from the presentation that we do with our consumers. And we're hoping that you will, we're going to share this with you once we're done, as well as the plan that we have. And we really want you to adapt it to your constituents, your consumers. We're happy to jump in and help and train, but if you have consumers that you want to do individual classes, please, we want you to do that. The more people we get trained and ready for the next disaster, the better. Summer is right around the corner. There's concern about fires, wind, and with that, William, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. My name is William Wood. As Lisa just said, I am the Integrated Programs Manager. The other person who is going to be presenting with me today is Genesis Hernandez. Go ahead and come off mute and bring up your camera, Miss Genesis. She is my PSPS and Emergency Preparedness Coordinator. She's coming out of the office today. I'm coming out of my home office today because we started off with no power in San Bernardino, and we wanted to make sure that this still happened. All right, just as a caveat, the presentation we're going to be giving, I'm going to be giving short explanations after each slide, even though me and Genesis are going to be going back and forth over what the purpose of each slide is. Okay, because this is a train the trainer situation. You guys are still going to be getting the class from the consumer perspective, but I still want to give you the explanation. Okay, here is our opening slide. It is myself and Genesis. Here, I'm not going to actually play the video, but we have an opening clip from the office about their fire evacuation. You're going to use this a little bit as a icebreaker. You're going to use this to relax the crowd, and even the joke about PowerPoints in there is really good, just kind of to loosen the mood, right? It's 5 minutes long. Our time is a little strapped. Sorry, no office for you. All right, so our pre-class questions for thought, right? These are the things that you're going to bring up initially, and you're going to ask, but not try and get answers right away. Right? Are you prepared for a disaster were it to happen right this minute? Do you have an emergency preparedness kit stocked and ready? Do you have a disaster plan for your family? And what type of emergencies or disasters should I prepare for where I live? And then go over these real quick. The last one I do typically answer in class is I go over the flash, flood, fire, pandemic, earthquake, PSPS events, extreme weather, or all the above. Guys, we had a hurricane in California last year. So remember. Genesis.
Okay, so this next slide is about preparation. Just like we prepare every day for work, we prepare for school, or even for vacation, or whenever we have upcoming plans, we make sure that we prepare for them. Just like we prepare for those things, we should also prepare for disasters because they could happen at any moment.
Right. And then from the perspective of our consumers, most of the people that we serve have disabilities. And the point I like to bring up is we have to prepare for every day and every event with disabilities, right? So what's the difference of adding one more step to prepare for emergencies? Right? This is another video that we will play.
Every individual can take important steps to prepare for emergencies and put plans in place in case of a disaster in your community. If you have a disability or other access or functional need, you may have to take additional steps to protect yourself and your family.
People with disabilities and people who have access and functional needs have to take a very proactive position in their personal preparedness.
If you think about it, we do it every day. We're ready for the next little disaster that we will face every day.
I always say prepare as if no one's coming to rescue you, because the reality is in a moderate or large events, no one is coming to rescue you anytime soon.
It may be a very short period of time. It may be a more extended period of time. But you need to prepare as if you're not going to have any of the resources that you might typically depend on.
The best way people can start to plan is by looking at the individual parts of their daily lives and figuring out where the potential gaps are.
Do an inventory of yourself. Do an inventory of the things that you use on a daily basis to be living independently, and then think about what is essential.
All right.
Think about the strategies, services, devices, tools, and techniques you use to live with a disability on a daily basis. These may include medications, durable medical equipment, service animals, assistive technology, communication tools, and transportation.
You really have to be focused as to what are your needs if you end up going to a shelter for 4 or 5 days, or if you're stuck in sheltering in place because people just can't get to you. What are the essential things that you're going to need to be able to survive?
As you think about assembling a support team, you need to be thinking about who are the people in your workplace, who are the people in your neighborhood, who are the people in your community, who might be able to assist you.
Go over your emergency plan with everyone in your support network. Make sure that someone in your personal support network has an extra key to your home and knows where you keep your emergency supplies. And teach them how to use any life-saving equipment or administer medicine in case of an emergency.
It's important that you find out in those places where you receive services on a regular basis, you find out what their emergency plans are. Ask them. If you are a person who gets dialysis, what are their emergency plans? If you're a person who uses paratransit services, what are their emergency plans for providing paratransit?
A standard emergency kit includes water, food, and medicine to sustain all members of your household for at least 3 days. Visit ready.gov for a complete list of suggested items, along with recommendations for how to prepare a family emergency plan.
Everybody needs to have a kit, and a kit really needs to have some very basic things in it, some water, some food. Then you're going to want to customize that kit to make sure that it has the things that you need.
Individuals with access and functional needs may want to consider some of the following items: extra glasses or hearing aids, battery chargers or extra batteries, copies of medical prescriptions, supplies for service animals, and necessary medical supplies. Visit ready.gov for a complete list of suggested emergency items for people with access and functional needs.
People with disabilities and access and functional needs are their own emergency managers. They know what they need on an everyday basis. And what my kit looks like is very different than somebody else's kit.
You want to be thinking about what is it going to take for you, both in your home and out of your home, to be able to maintain your health, your safety, your independence for a period of, a few hours to perhaps a few days. Preparedness is actually a 365-day-a-year activity that all of us should take very seriously. It's important that every day we do a little something to keep ourselves as prepared as we possibly can.
The most empowering thing you can do is take charge for yourself during disaster, during the little storms and the big storms. And that's probably the most positive thing you can ever do for yourself as a person. Because that gives you control. That gives you control over the outcomes.
Download this brochure about preparing for disaster for people with disabilities and other access and functional needs from ready.gov. Check out the other information available on the site and get started preparing today.
Okay, that's a quick summary of the things that we're going to be going over today. Learning the basics of preparedness is how to be ready to know how to help yourself, your family, your neighbors during a disaster or public safety power shutoff, or it'll be called a PSPS event. Developing your personal preparedness plan, how to receive news, alerts, and warnings, shelter or types of shelters, evacuation, family and household communication plan, and preparing a supply kit for on the go or staying at home. That's just today's objectives. That's kind of a summary of what we're going to be going over. And if you guys noticed, it came in the previous video as well. So this is going to be opening up the floor for discussion with your consumers or the people that you're giving this class to. Go ahead, Genesis.
Okay, so why is this important? So according to studies, persons with disabilities are 4 times more likely to die in an emergency or disaster than the person without a disability. And we want that to change to 4 times more likely to survive. We need to plan as though no one is coming to assist us. And it could be 3 to 7 days or longer for first responders to reach out to you because, again, they target more of the disaster that's going on first. And shelters will not be set up right away, and roads are in the area may be blocked. And having a plan and knowing where to find resources will ensure you survival during an emergency.
Now, just as she said, we like to start off with a statistic to kind of bring everyone back down to earth. Okay. This is a realistic statistic. I am formerly a paramedic with Orange County Fire Authority. In the whole statement that during a major disaster, emergency crews are going to be focusing on the disaster first, not rescue efforts. Okay. And we got to point out how small of a percentage in your local area it is like for law enforcement, fire, paramedics, and like doctors and nurses that is to the population. Usually it's some ridiculous number like 1 in 10,000. Okay. So here we have the Emergency Readiness Survey from 2021. This is off the DDAR website, and this is a little bit to kind of show the broad umbrella of the people that we are talking about. Because many people see disability, or you say disability, or has a person who has a disability, they picture just a chair user, right? We also have deaf, mental health disability, chronic health conditions, intellectual or developmental disabilities, physical or mobility. Your age comes into factor. So what age group do you come into? Do you require a chair or an assistive device in order to help with your disability? And then what type of powered equipment do you use daily? And how much would that affect your life? Genesis?
Okay, so just like how we played that video in the beginning, here is the website to ready.gov, and under those arrows you see there, you can find everything that you need regarding that current disaster, and how to make a plan, and how to make a kit, and you can redirect them to this website where they can find all of that information there.
Safety is everywhere. Think about the types of places you go to frequently. What type of building will you be in when a disaster happens? And what are my risks here if something happens? Okay, this is where I start to give my examples of like daily activities. People immediately think the doctor's office. People often don't think about the supermarket. Things you can do to prepare to know if you're going to handle a disaster in the supermarket is drive around the supermarket and see where the emergency exits are. Okay, mine in Phelan does not have accessible exits, emergency exits. There is a 2 foot drop right after the exit door that would be very difficult for anyone with any type of mobility disability. Or I think it'd be difficult for anyone running out that door and have a 2 foot drop. Go ahead, Genesis.
So having a plan, planning is free, and a lot can be done tonight or this weekend. Designate a meetup location if your family is separated. Create a fire escape and evacuation out of the house. Plan for pets and service animals as well. Do you need to shelter in place? Just like how we had COVID and we had to quarantine, prepare for that. People, you could see the grocery stores. There wasn't any water, there wasn't any toilet paper because they weren't prepared ahead of hand. Once you have a plan, practice your plan at least twice a year and talk about it so that you can refresh your memory with your family members and friends or neighbors as well.
Now, when you're given this slide, when they ask about a meetup location for your family, and make sure you designate that the family you're talking about is your household, okay? Make it somewhere easy enough for the youngest or potentially the oldest and most confused person to be able to find that location in the time of an emergency. And that literally could be like the tree in the front yard, okay? Or the street sign on the corner in front of our house, okay? We want to also, when we say create a fire escape, I'm not telling you to break out the heavy industrial equipment and create a giant slide out your window. I am telling the example we need is from the kitchen, your bedrooms, and the living room. Make sure the areas are clear to the exit. Okay. When I say clear, we all have bookshelves and things like that we've all built from IKEA, right? How many of you actually put on the earthquake clips? Yeah, not too many. I don't know anyone who actually does, but having that in a hallway during an earthquake while you're trying to run out of your house could be a potential problem, right? Those are the types of examples I would give. Plan for your household pets and service animals. I simply say don't forget about Fluffy. He needs food and water too. And then a collapsible crate is a good idea. And then once you have a plan, practice it at least twice a year and talk about it. It is a common practice amongst many people to not talk about the negative things going on around them in the world. This is one of those times where you need to kind of urgently let them know that they need to discuss this so we know what's going on. All right. And then when you're creating an emergency plan, start your plan from a template, right? I'm going to be showing you guys an example at the end of the class of the emergency disaster plan that Rolling Start has, and it really is as easy as fill in the blank, okay? And this is something that you'd want to have printed out. We also have the Red Cross one here. And all the links are available because we either send them the resource list or we send them exactly just the slideshow so they can go through the slideshow and click on the links.
So creating your plan, again, like how Will mentioned, using a template where you can just answer questions regarding your emergency contact list and medications that you need. Once your plan is written, update information at least every 6 months because things do change. And keep your plan handy and ready for use.
Meaning like keep it in a place that's obvious. Something as a paramedic that I absolutely love that people would do is put their emergency plan, emergency contacts, and medication list on the refrigerator in a big red folder. Made my job super easy. Things to consider are your abilities and the abilities of the people you live with. Who will you and others depend on in an emergency? For transportation, medications, equipment and supplies, backup power and refrigeration, vacationers, renters, or caregivers, family members. Wheelchairs are mobility access, children and pets, personal support network, and special evacuation routes. Now, this is when we have to be realistic about our limitations. Even myself, I am a disabled veteran, 100% disabled, and I can't feel the right side of my body. It is not realistic for me to think I'm going to be jumping out of any windows. Okay? You have to plan within your limitations. You have to be realistic about your own limitations. And of course, to stop for questions. Do we have any questions? Nope. Okay.
Okay. So news alerts and warnings. How will you receive information before and during an emergency? If you go to the weather radio, there's a link there where you can get updated information on the weather, on the current news, and any disasters going on. And also radio stations, the TV, again, like I mentioned, and also social media is a big one. It's often used for, to be on a know the first thing first. So that's how I personally receive news and alerts firsthand.
So the website is good to go to if you have power or cell phone. If you have an emergency backup radio that comes in many emergency kits, or you can buy one off of Amazon for quite literally like $10, it'll have a switch that goes to the NOAA radio. Okay. Local television stations, for us, that's going to be KVCR. That's going to be you don't need satellite, you don't need cable, you don't need anything else, television station that will be covering a disaster in our area. We also have the different radio stations in the area. I'd say it's going to be the pop stations, country stations, or like classic rock stations that typically have the best news, or there's an AM station for Caltrans. When we tell people social media, I always want to give the caveat that social media is an excellent tool to tell people where you are. Like, I am at the Red Cross shelter at Serrano High School, but it's not always the best information or best way to get information about what is going on in your area. Checking on people, great. Knowing what's going on, not always so great. Here, we can sign up for local alerts at San Bernardino County app at SB Ready. You can look that up in the App Store. The American Red Cross phone app, again, you can look that up at the Red Cross, or you can go to ready.gov. Local emergency alert systems in our area is calalerts.org/sign up. It's going to have a list of all the different counties and different city alerts that we have. We also have the TENS, San Bernardino County TENS alert system. Riverside County sign up for phone alerts, and then PSPS alerts from Edison. Customers can go to the www.see.com/wildfire/PSPS alerts and set up an alert preference on my account section. You have to do this in order to get the alerts, though. Okay. And non-customers and caretakers can sign up for specific address alerts at www.seepsps.com. Right? Next section we're going to be going over is evacuation.
Pop cups and is. Yeah, that's it. You do you, I do me, that's lit. I'm a snack, 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 snack. That's my flavor.
Chips Ahoy, here for happy.
People were forced to leave their homes with little more than the clothes on their backs. Let's go to our Kana Whitworth with some of their stories. Morning, Kana.
Yeah, Robin, good morning. Look, I heard this fire described here in the Palisades as a monster, and now that we're really seeing the aftermath of it, I can tell you that's a good way to describe it. In fact, I've had multiple people say things to me like every single person I know in Pacific Palisades has lost their home. And it's also striking when you turn this corner to see the vast nothingness now that was once the most sought after neighborhood in this country. And authorities told me this morning there's a new problem. The homes that are left standing, they're getting reports now of looting.
We gotta get out of here. This morning, apocalyptic scenes across Los Angeles as harrowing stories of survival emerge from families fleeing the infernos through tunnels of fire.
All of PCH is on fire right now. It is like driving through hell itself down here. These homes are on fire and you can feel the heat from the flames, even from inside your car.
Desperate to escape,
We've just been evacuated.
Aaron Sampson and his elderly father-in-law fleeing the Pacific Palisades fire, stranded without a car, a good Samaritan driving them 35 minutes before everyone abandoned their cars and continued on foot.
This is crazy. There's a fire right outside our car. We got this. We got this. Come on. Turn around. You got it. Keep walking down the hill. We got it, Dad. We got it.
And these cars turning the road into a parking lot. And the ones left, charred husks. Our David Muir on the scene.
The traffic was so bad, they figured their chances were better getting out on foot and running the rest of the way out of here.
I mean, it's an apocalyptic scene.
It is. It is. You see where the bulldozer had to come through and push the cars aside so we can get up here.
My parents' house burnt down, my grandparents' house burnt down, and my aunt and uncle's house burned down.
3 generations of the Doran family now piled into Caitlin's Marina Del Rey apartment. As the smoke cleared, the Palisades village looking more like a war zone than a popular shopping area. Skeletal remains of the businesses unrecognizable. Some homes were spared, but the embers that were blown by the powerful Santa Ana winds would burn homes just next door. The Palisades fire scorching everything in its path, disintegrating homes and vehicles, residents like Curtis losing everything.
This is pretty devastating. This is pretty devastating. I don't think LA's seen anything like this before.
65-year-old Randy Stokel says his neighborhood has been turned upside down.
I stopped a couple fires. I stopped one that went, and then it reignited about 4:30 this morning, and thank God I woke up at the perfect time, and I got it, and I stopped it from burning my house, and it's a tough day today.
And the fire swept through the Altadena neighborhood of Lisa Marie Burnside and Stuart Brawley, leaving it unrecognizable.
It's really hard to process what a town that's been decimated by fire looks like.
Shelters packed with evacuees.
You don't know what to grab. There's no time. And we didn't have room in the car anyway.
So many residents don't know if their home is still standing. But the Rifkin family knows that they lost everything. Their smart home app sending alerts as it burnt to the ground.
I was just sat there in silence, and there's only so much you can do. And being so helpless at this time is...
It's a play-by-play of your...
It was frustrating. You just saw
burning down.
Each room go.
You wake up one morning and everything is normal. And you go to bed that night and you have nothing.
The scope of the devastation becoming more clear for many families. Entire neighborhoods reduced to ash, chimneys, all that remain for some.
All the stuff that's here is replaceable. People are not, so...
Very lucky.
So having the family is the most important thing.
Those priorities, right? And you have to think about the sheer panic someone would have to be in to abandon their car and run. ABC News is now learning that local city council members here in Pacific Palisades warned officials in LA about congestion during wildfire evacuation. And now, sadly, George, we have seen their worst nightmare play out.
Yeah, we
there.
certainly have. Okay, Kana, thanks.
All right, so we just had a good reality slap about evacuation. All right, there's 2 stages to an evacuation. There's the warning, you should leave or prepare to leave, and the order, leave now. Okay, to many, evacuation could be a scary word because it means you are not safe where you are. Questions immediately fill your head. Where am I going to go? What am I going to, or how am I going to get there? How long will I be away? And what do I take with me? An evacuation plan can help quiet the mind and get you to safety faster with all the items that you will need, no matter how long you will be gone. Now, when you're making your evacuation plan, you want to make sure you have printed maps from your home to friends and family homes, work to home to work, and home to school. Phone numbers and family and phone numbers of family and friends, phone numbers and addresses of services you often use, like your pharmacy, doctor's office, or anything like that. And again, I cannot reiterate this enough. Make sure it is a printed out list. Okay. I carry 2 cell phones with me for work, right? My batteries don't last longer than 4 hours, guys. Remember that. Okay.
Okay. And during an evacuation, you should have a support team. If you need help evacuating from your home, create a support team of at least 3 people. People who can come to your assistance, such as your neighbors, friends, or coworkers, and teaching them how to help you, how to use, if you use any assistive technology, assistive device, teaching them how to use that so that they can help you in case of an emergency. Grab supplies that your disability needs for you to live and practice. And because you are the best person to judge what assistance you need.
Right. And this is one of those things where you have to reiterate. Cousin Johnny, who lives 50 miles away, is not the best person. Okay. We're talking about people who can immediately be there within 10 minutes. Okay. You have to talk to your neighbors. You have to create a community for your best options. Evacuation and wait, did you just go? Yes, evacuation and transportation. Who can you call? Access services like Uber, Lyft, buses, taxis may be out of service. Got to remember, those people are evacuating as well. If you have to evacuate, call your support group first. Keep that list of phone numbers handy. Emergencies change rapidly. Be safe and evacuate during the warning stage instead of waiting for the order. Okay, we all know how California traffic can get. The earlier you leave, the better it will be. Next, we're going to go over sheltering. Ms. Genesis.
So most homes today are built to current standards to have been modified and will perform well in most disasters. Common damages are usually like broken glass, falling panels, falling books, dishes, small or large appliances. Major damages cause the home to be unsafe to live in. Damages can be like walkways, stairways, and loss of power and gas that make it unlivable.
Right. And those 3 things are water, power, and gas that will determine whether or not a building is condemned. Yes, you should know the location of where your gas valve is and how to turn it off. But the only time that you should turn it off is if you do smell that rotting egg, and it will be an obvious smell or odor. Because if you turn it off, the gas company has to come back and turn it on, and that is a hefty bill. Okay. Sheltering plan. What are my sheltering options? You can shelter in place. To summarize that one, it's going to be where a officer or a firefighter or someone tells you, stay where you are. I'm going to make this very simple. Stay where you are until they tell you to leave, because it is not safe for you to go anywhere else. We have the stay-at-home order. You got to think about COVID, guys. Same restrictions, even though no one listened. Where you could go outside and go do outdoor activities, but try and stay at home, okay? And then emergency shelters would be like the Red Cross shelters, all right?
Okay, so as he mentioned, the Red Cross shelter. What is provided in a shelter would be safety, disaster information, food and supplies, a place to sleep, shower, minor medical treatment, which is why you should have your own medical equipment just in case, medicine, information about your home insurance, access to communication, cell phone, charger, internet, and phone, What is not provided is obvious, which is privacy, comfort, and it's not long term, and you're not gonna have any quietness.
This is just kind of what to expect from these things. One thing I do like to point out is they do have medical personnel there. And one of the things, I get my medications mailed to me by the VA, and it always comes with that like 3 foot long paper that has your prescription. I would throw those in your emergency kit because guess what that is? A prescription. If for some reason you don't have your prescription in your emergency kit and you bring that to a mass care shelter, they will be able to give you your prescribed medication. Okay? Family and household communication plan. How will you contact your friends to tell them that you are safe or need help? Cell phones may not work to make phone calls. Text messages may go through better with text messages may go through better, okay? And to add that caveat, you'll have to go into your settings and turn off SMS and just make it a broadband or bandwidth text message. Those use almost no data or any services, so that may go through. Landlines will be your best way to get help, but not the VoIP phones or the internet phones. The power's out, they're not working. Social media is a great way to send information to friends and family to let them know that you are safe and where you are. And again, keep those phone numbers updated, printed out in your kit so you have them in case your phone battery dies out.
Okay, so now we're going to go over what to take in an emergency kit. Kits can be small and large and will be different for everyone. We have different kits for different locations. Each one has a specific purpose. So a home kit should have for each family member in your household. A bedroom kit in case you get stuck in your bedroom, you have a kit next to you. I'm sorry, Will, can you move?
Yep.
A car kit in case you're stranded in your car. You have the right tools as well, and a work kit in case you get stuck at work and you can't come out. What's in that kit? Kits for your pets as well. We can't forget about our pets. Our pets are just as important to us. And a grab and go kit, a kit that you have to just grab and go within 2 minutes.
Okay, and I know that's a lot. That's an ideal situation. The one that I tell people that they absolutely need is a grab and go kit, a work kit, and a car kit. Okay? Those are necessary. Now, what goes in the emergency kit? Some kits are just things that you already have at home or in the car. A go kit is different. It's the bag you grab and go when you are being grabbed by the front of your shirt by that firefighter and pulled out of your house. I have a big old duffel bag by my front door that has all the things listed down here, right? You have a manual can opener, non-perishable foods, sweet or salty treats, hygiene or personal sanitation items, water, about 3 days worth, a first aid kit, a flashlight with extra batteries or one of those crank flashlights, personal documents or copies of them on a USB drive. Children's toys and games, pet items, cash, small bills, a radio, battery operated or crank operated, warm clothes and sturdy shoes, boots are best, tools, you'd only need 4. Crescent wrench, pry bar, duct tape, and a multi-tool. I was in the Marines, you can fix anything with those 4 things, right? Cell phone charger, the kind that plug into the cigarette lighter is best, and then a sleeping bag or blankets, right? Now, specific needs would be like hearing aid batteries, eyeglasses, oxygen or nebulizer supplies, hygiene supplies, catheter supplies, blood glucose monitor, feeding equipment, or walking cane or white cane, or a mask, right? Those are just examples of some of the extra things that you might need to throw into your go bag in case of an emergency, right? But again, this all comes down to your specific needs. On this slide, we would tell them they'd be when they participate in our webinar and when they give us their emergency plan, they get a complimentary 3-day emergency go kit. It's not that one. The one that we have is much nicer now, but you guys aren't getting any because no. What's going on, Ben?
Oh, I was just clapping.
Oh,
but there is a question in the chat. Can you please repeat the information about the SMS texting feature?
Yes. So you would go into your settings on your cell phone, under text messages. I'm, of course, going off of iPhone because it's what I have. You just search up your text message settings. And then it'll have as send as text message option. And then you would go in there and where it says send as text message, you would turn that on or off for iPhone. And then for Android, I believe it is turn off SMS.
So we don't want SMS during an emergency.
No, you do not.
Got it.
Right. Simply due to it uses data that uses a lot more bandwidth, and it will not go through. If you ever been to a concert and it said it's sent but never sent, you'll have that happen.
Thank you.
So we're going to be going over PSPS events, Genesis.
So here we go over the PSPS events and what it is. So a PSPS event is when Southern California Edison has determined a weather event is extreme enough to cause damage to their equipment and possibly start a wildfire. A PSPS is usually planned 24 to 48 hours in advance of a severe weather event involving high winds. SCE customers are usually given notice of these events if they are signed up for the Medical Baseline Program or SCE notifications. And we do explain on how to sign up for the Medical Baseline Program.
These are pretty direct. Does anyone have any questions on these? No? Okay. And just to reiterate, PSPS events are typically planned. We know they're coming, okay? So it shouldn't be out of the blue. Will my power be turned off? The biggest question that is always asked during the events, will my power be turned off? And the answer is, I don't know. It really doesn't, it kind of ranges. And then sometimes we have events that last a day and one person lost power somewhere way out in the boonies. And then we have January where we had people without power all month. So it's weird. You can go to sce.com/outage center/check status, but I'm going to be honest, I have not had this website work for me. Okay. Rolling Start is here to help. Medical baseline enrollment. Rolling Start can assist eligible customers to enroll in Southern California Edison. The Medical Baseline program is not an income-based program. If you, a friend, or family use an electronic medical device or life support device due to a disability or a health condition, we can help them apply for Medical Baseline approved. Customers will receive a lower rate who doesn't like saving money on their monthly energy bill, as well as receive extra notifications in advance of public safety power shut off. Now, this I know works. Okay, this is a very good program to where if you are going to be experiencing a PSPS event, someone from Southern California Edison, not someone from a nonprofit, is going to be trying to get in hold of you to let you know that there is going to be a period of concern in which you may lose power and to have your backup plan ready. They will come knock on your door if you don't answer, right? And they will continue to search for you until they find you to give you that information.
Okay, and we provide the critical care backup battery. So Edison customers who use electronic medical devices are currently enrolled in the Medical Baseline Program can apply for the backup battery program. A backup battery can assist with power for an oxygen concentrator, a power chair charging, a mini refrigerator to keep medications cold.
Yeah. And how do these steps help us, right? They help us stay informed so that we can avoid unnecessary stress. We have a plan. Your family will know what to do and who to call. You'll keep supplies so that you will know what you need to stay comfortable and survive and get involved. And that's one of those things that I need to reiterate. Get involved, include your neighbors, try and turn it into a community thing. I've had many senior communities who turn their emergency day into an emergency day where every household is practicing what would happen. Okay, specifically out of Carriage Isle, they do that.
Okay, And prepare to thrive. The better prepared you are, the faster you can recover and get the help you need instead of what someone else thinks you need. And don't be just a survivor, be an independent survivor who is standing strong and thriving before, during, and after a disaster.
And then there is our information. Does anybody have any questions? I tried to burn through that as quick as I could. All right, Nancy.
Do nursing home residents qualify for this? Because we don't qualify for some services that are out there.
I have not issued a battery to anyone in a nursing home. So I'm going to tentatively say no.
Can you review how to get that or how to request that backup battery?
So yeah, I can actually just show you. Share screen. No, not that one.
William, for the sake of time, if you wouldn't mind just sharing the process, that'd be helpful.
Yep. Share.
Sorry, I meant share verbally. Just explain.
Oh, verbally? Oh, okay.
Because of time, we may not have time to show a website.
We will also be sending out the slide deck, and also this presentation is being recorded, and that will be up on our Inland Coalition on Aging website that you can also review. It was a lot of great information, and I think us sharing it and reviewing it is extremely important. We need to get prepared, and we need to help our clients get prepared too.
So many people have you have a couple options here. You go to the DDAR website, the Disability Access and Resources website, and you just scroll down and access application here. You can download a PDF version for them to fill out. What just happened? All right. Print it out and mail it into them, but the fastest process would be is to use that link in order to fill out the application. What's going to happen is it's going to go to the DDAR office, and then it is going to come to us for us to approve on their location. They need to be in a tier 2 or higher fire zone, or have had 3 power outages in the last 2 years, which basically qualifies all of Southern California, and have a disability that requires a powered device.
This is Lisa. I just wanted to answer that question on nursing homes. We would not provide backup batteries for nursing homes, largely because nursing facilities are required to have backup plans, and it's a different funding stream. So we've not been able to do that. So, we're happy to go and help, though, if there's any kind of training that we could do, help you provide some recommendations on what needs to happen. But we want to be able to support, but we wouldn't be able to provide the backup there. The backup battery program is specifically for individual homes to help people survive and thrive during an emergency.
Correct. What I have done, like I said, for like Carriage Isle, is they have for the entire senior community living area, is they have an evacuation plan that I went and reviewed for them, and I walked through the process with them, made minor changes to make it a little bit more modern and feasible, and help them with the practice. Okay. We could not provide the backup batteries, as Lisa said, because most of the time, any medical facility that has professional medical care will have emergency backup power of one version or another.
Great. Thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you. I want to go ahead and thank William, Genesis, and Lisa for this presentation. We appreciate the information provided. We'll be sure to share this information with everybody. The MPA, one of our goals is safety, and not just safety from abuse, neglect, exploitation, but also safety in case of emergencies. One thing that stuck out to me in this presentation was not so much the earthquake or the natural disaster per se, but what I have or don't have in my house that's really going to be a disaster, right? There's a natural disaster that happens, and then there's disaster of not being prepared, the disaster of not having water, not having my extra medications and medical equipment, and not having all these things in place and organized and readily available. That's really the disaster that could happen. And it just it stood out to me that I need to have those tools in place. So thank you very, 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 very much for this sharing this information. Very important, great presentation. If we could give them a virtual round of applause, please. Appreciate that. Thank you once again for that presentation. We are at the end of our meeting. We just have 3 minutes. Again, I want to remind you that we have a survey that will be going out. We need your help. We need your help. We are at the point where we need your input. We need your suggestions. We need your feedback. All of you are stakeholders. Your communities are stakeholders. We'll be reaching out to some of you, as we've mentioned, or all of you actually, through a survey. And we're hoping to get some folks that say, yes, I want to help with this area, dementia. I want to help with safety and emergency preparedness. I want to help with housing and homelessness. I want to help with equity and safety and respect, or I want to help with Alzheimer's and dementia. I see a very wide group of professionals here in various serving organizations, and we'd love for you to partner with us and help us as we start to look at how we're going to implement these goals, right? We're very near to publishing the master plan for aging, and we're very close to saying, okay, we got to take this to the next step, and that is implementing this plan. And so we need Dakota, we need Genesis, we need Anna, we need Montserrat, we need Will, we need all of you to be a part of that work that's coming up. So please look for that survey, please respond and let us know. And if you have specific questions about what your role is in all of this, I know all of you have a role in this, feel free to reach out to us, info@inlandaging.org, and we will get back to you and see how we can work together. I specifically want to ask for help with those areas, rural areas of the communities, the mountain communities, rural areas, or maybe some communities that we just haven't been able to reach. Elizabeth, thank you, Elizabeth, for reaching out to folks during the chat. We'll be reaching out soon, and I'd love to connect with you if you have any questions about your role in the Inland Empire Master Plan for Aging. I will end by saying thank you once again for all you do to ensure that we have an age-friendly community, an accessible community, and a community that values caregivers and all they do also. So wishing you good day. Thank you all for joining. We're going to end the meeting now. Bye, everyone. It's good to see you.